All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a short little video where we're going to be covering a few tips to help you guys over the next 90 days to optimize and explode your business. As a client of ours, we want to do our part to equip and empower you with knowledge, resources, and strategies to help you through the next 90 days. As you guys know, we have the holidays coming up, then we have New Year's coming up, which, in my opinion, are the greatest seasons in business. Okay, so let's jump right into our agenda for today. So we're going to be going over three things. And again, this video will be short, 15 minutes or so. The first thing we're going to break down and cover is the visual pipeline. Okay. The second thing is we'll be talking about tips for utilizing Scale, the CRM, correctly. And number three, we'll be going over the next 90 days and some ideas of what you can implement. So let's jump right into the first piece, because at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing in business, and that is to acquire more customers quicker, right? So as a business owner, as a client of the Famous Group, it's important that you understand the pipeline, right? And we like to utilize this illustration, the sales bridge, to give you an understanding of how you should be looking at the leads that are coming in from the advertising all the way to the point of sale, right? So step one, the advertising. We're running the ads on Facebook and Instagram, as you know. And ultimately, that's how we're generating leads. People see the ad, they click on it, they want to learn more about repairing their credit. They then fill out a form, name, email, phone number. From there, they get added to automations where they can then click another link to book an appointment, right? A consultation. If they don't book an appointment, well, that's where the automations, as well as you or your sales team, will begin to do outreach to get that lead on the phone so you can eventually complete a consultation, right? So far we have the advertising that generates the lead. Once the lead is generated, we then want to contact that lead through actual human contact or through automation or both, so we can complete a consultation. So at the end of the day, the most important part of this process is really going to be, number one, the number of leads that are coming in. Because if you only generate a few leads at a time, well, you're not going to get people to a consultation, right? It's a numbers game. We understand, the reason why we have this bridge is we understand that some people who opt in, they may never make it to an initial contact, right? So one example of that would be if a lead opts in and you never call them. You just depend on an automation. So that lead ends up, getting cold. Maybe they see another ad for another credit company and they end up going that route. So that person, even though they opted in, because no one ever reached out to them, they basically fell off the bridge into the black hole to never be seen again. Okay. The next step, let's say you do make initial contact with them, but maybe for whatever reason they were busy, or maybe you were busy and you couldn't complete a full consultation. That's possible too, right? So those people that you've been able to contact, if you haven't completed a consultation, well, we're not going to count those people as consultations, right? It's two separate things. Just because someone's engaging with you does not mean that that's a consultation. In my opinion, the definition of a consultation is where you're able to go through your entire program, the entire process, and you break down your pricing, right? So once that prospect gets that information, well, now they can make an educated decision. So until a prospect has gotten all three of those things, well, they haven't completed a consultation, right? And so again, the goal is to get these prospects into a consultation as quickly as possible, okay? Now, what happens here is very important, because you can complete a consultation, but one thing to keep in mind, that not everyone's going to sign up or buy today. Some people require multiple days to think about things. Maybe they want to have another conversation. Maybe they need to talk to their spouse. And this is normal, because at the end of the day, they're making an important decision for their finances, right? They want to work with you in repairing their credit, but they also want to make sure it's the right choice. So you having the back end to follow up with them, whether it's a follow-up email, follow-up call, or a follow-up appointment that's booked, which we always recommend you do, that's going to be one of the most important pieces to getting that person from a consultation into actually crossing the bridge as a customer, right? The fortune is in the follow-up. I can't begin to tell you how many people we've worked with in the last couple of years that have managed to generate a lot of leads. They've got consultations, but because they don't have a proper follow-up system, those people never end up becoming a customer. They fall into the black hole, never to be seen before. And why is that the case? Because what ends up happening is, you know, people expect me, so some of the business owners expect that these people will just sign up right away. And I want you to have this mentality that sales is a process, not an event. So just because someone opts in doesn't mean they're going to buy today. In fact, you need to have the mentality that you're gonna need to spend, multiple conversations with these people in order to enroll them as a customer, right? And you want to make sure you have a robust follow-up system on the back end. So in terms of the Famous Group and what we're doing for you, well, we're providing the initial steps here. We're running the advertising. We generate the lead opt-in mechanisms. We even set up the initial automation so that way we can get you the consultation, right? So we're kind of helping with this piece, but this is your part right over here, right? The consultation, the following up, and of course, closing the sale. So one thing to keep in mind with these ads that we're running, right, you're generating what we call cold leads. So if you've just started working with the Famous Group and you might be a little discouraged, maybe you're not getting the best response rate, maybe you haven't closed anybody yet. One thing to keep in mind is it's different when you're working cold leads. Most people, when they start in credit repair, they're dealing with hot leads and warm leads, right? Family and friends, or referrals, acquaintance, and your organic followers on social media. These type of leads are going to be the easiest to enroll because there's already trust. Cold leads are going to be the hardest to enroll because there is no trust. But the secret to scaling your business is to be able to have each of these lead types coming into your sales pipeline at all times. You don't want just hot leads, nor do you want just warm leads, nor do you want just cold leads. You want all types of leads. You want all three channels feeding your sales pipeline, because what ends up happening over time, it will allow you that when your referrals dry up, you still have leads that are coming in that are cold that you're able to convert. And let me explain one very important concept here. Cold leads, you are paying for these leads, right? Which in turn means you're paying to acquire a customer. But the most important thing to realize is that a paid lead, a customer you're paying for, right? You're paying for the ads, they opt in, right? It costs money. Those people that you are generating through advertising, the whole goal of enrolling these people is to get referrals. Because if you generate referrals from the cold leads, those referrals end up becoming what? Warm leads, right? Warm leads. So your cold leads referrals end up becoming your warm leads, which does in turn increase your sales conversion. You'll get more sales. And the best part is referrals are free, right? So you pay to get the lead, but if you understand the concept of getting referrals, that'll allow you to maximize your money spent in advertising. Don't look at it like I'm spending $10 to get a lead. Look at it like I'm spending $10 to potentially get 10 leads, because one lead could generate you 3 referrals. That could generate you 3 more referrals. And if you have that mentality, you'll never run out of people to talk to, because at the end of the day, in this business, it is all about numbers. The more people you talk to, the more consultations you complete, the more conversions you're going to have, right? And that's the name of the game. Okay, now one additional tip when we talk about the advertising side, right, and generating leads, it's important to understand the conversion rate from lead to actually becoming a customer. You want to have the proper expectation. Now, there's 2 types of people that are watching this right now. Type 1, you've never run advertising before for your credit business, so this is a new experience. Or type 2, you have been doing this for some time. You have experience selling the cold leads, and that's great. But it's important, regardless of where you sit, that you understand the average sales conversion of a Facebook lead is anywhere from 5% to 10%, right? So again, Facebook leads are cold, right? So it's going to be a lower conversion rate than referrals, right? Hot and warm leads. So what will make the difference in terms of you closing more leads into customers? Well, it's not going to be, believe it or not, the ad. The ad does not determine if you close more people or not. Okay, we've been doing this for a long time, and we've done all types of advertising, all variations, and we know that does not have a determining factor in sales conversion. What determines sales conversion is really 3 things. Number 1, sales skills, your ability to communicate your program, your process effectively, right? If you can do it effectively in a way where the prospect trusts you and they feel comfortable with you, that's like number 1, right? that they really feel connected with you and that they can trust what you're saying. Number two is actually going to be follow up, right? I know it says here price point, but even before price point is your follow up. What we found is that you may generate leads today and they may not communicate. They may not answer the phone for weeks, maybe even months. But the ability to follow up day in and day out with these leads, right, will have a huge effect on generating those sales from people that you maybe have crossed off your list. So the follow-up is the second most important aspect of converting these leads. And then the third piece will be price point, right? You obviously need to understand who you're talking to. Are you talking to somebody who has deep pockets, or are you talking to somebody who has deep problems, right? If they have deep problems financially, right? This is one reason why they're reaching out to you for help. Don't expect them to be able to afford a high ticket offer that you may have. So you want to be able to have an option to meet the prospect where they are in their situation, right? And that's the key. You've got to be flexible in that, because times are tough right now for a lot of people, right? So having that sensitivity and empathy when it comes to your consultations is going to help you move the needle really, really far ahead. Okay, now the next thing when it comes to Facebook advertising, right? And we know in the sales pipeline, step one is ads, step two is leads. So if you want to increase sales, getting more people across the bridge that we just talked about earlier, it's really going to boil down to volume, right? The more money you spend per day will determine the number of leads per day. The number of leads will determine the number of sales. So if you see here, an ad budget of $10 a day will get you one lead a day on average. That's 30 leads in a month. And with a 5 to 10% conversion rate, you're looking at 1 to 3 sales per month. So here's the thing. If you're spending $10 a day and you have an expectation that you're going to get 10 customers a day, I want to let you know that that is an incorrect expectation, because the numbers, the data is telling us straight up that the most you can expect is 3 sales on a $10 a day budget with cold leads, okay? Now, I'm not saying you can't get referrals and maximize that, but I'm just saying at face value, the leads you generate from your advertising, expect 5 to 10%. Now, let's say you spent $20 a day. Well, now you've doubled your lead flow, which means you now have the potential to double your sales flow, right? What if you spent 50 a day? Obviously, now you're getting 5 leads a day. This is just a hypothetical. I want to preface this because, again, the cost per lead can vary depending on the state you're targeting. Some of you guys are only targeting one city, one state, whatever. All right. And then, of course, the other variable is going to be, like I mentioned, sales skills, follow up, and, your price point. So, again, this is just a hypothetical to give you a visual understanding of how volume, when it comes to leads, are affected by your ad budget, right? So to keep it very simple, if you want to generate more customers, we just got to work backwards, right? Let's just go back to the bridge. You want more sales, right? Customers, we have to do what? More follow-ups, more consultations, right? More contacts. But in order to be able to have all this, we need what? More leads that opt in. In order to get more leads, we need what? More ad spend, right? That's all it is. People call us all the time saying, "Hey, how can I get more customers?" Well, then we ask them, "What are you spending per day?" "Oh, I'm spending this much." "Okay, well, increase it." It's simple as that. It's not rocket science, and that's why marketing is so powerful, because it really is numbers driven, right? Data driven. And we have the data. We've been doing this for so long, probably longer than anybody in the industry. Okay, let's shift gears now and go into scale and talk about how to maximize the CRM, because we look at some of the client accounts and kind of see where maybe there are things that are being missed that can absolutely affect your results. So let's talk about this. The first thing we see is when a new lead opts in, a lot of our clients are just waiting for the automation to do the work, right? You wait for the initial text, you wait for the email, and that's okay. But I want to let you know that consumers, prospects, are smarter today than ever before when it comes to making buying decisions. So they already know about automated messages and automated text messages. And what people are looking for is something different. They're looking for human connection and interaction. So the number one tip I can give you is when a new lead comes in, don't let the automation do all the work. You want to jump in right away. reach out, call the lead, make that human connection, right? The first person that connects with that lead is going to end up, or at least having a higher percentage chance of signing that person as a customer. So if it's not your company that's doing it, it could be a competitor company doing it, right? So the 5-minute rule: the lead comes in, don't wait. Reach out to them immediately. The next thing people ask is, how many times should I follow up with these leads? They're not responsive. Now, I understand sometimes maybe the lead may not be interested after they opted in. It could also be a bad lead. There's a certain percentage of the leads may, put in incorrect phone numbers, and that's normal. It's expected. It's how it is, right? But how often should you follow up? Well, honestly, there's really no set answer. I mean, we have leads that we work, for our agency. It's been, for years. I mean, we have people who've been in our nurture system for years, and we continuously reach out to them. And how do we reach out to them? We may not call them all the time like we did in the beginning, but we definitely send them bulk emails, bulk text messages, right? So what we recommend is, at least for the first 2 weeks, that you are calling that lead 1, 2, 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening, right? Sending them an email, a text, phone call. And then after 2 weeks, if you get no response, then you can shift them to more of put more gaps into the follow-up. So maybe once a week or once a month. And you can do that through utilizing bulk campaigns, which we'll talk about towards the end here, right? But you'll be surprised. Some of the people that you will sign up in the future will be people that are your oldest leads that were unresponsive, that you probably thought were bad leads, but it's not that. They just weren't ready at the time, right? Okay, next thing, appointments. So when people book appointments, that's a great sign that that lead is motivated, right? They're booking an appointment. Now, I want to let you know, here's a tip. People usually wait for the appointment time to call that lead, which I understand. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to give you a tip. Instead of waiting for the appointment time, why don't you call them earlier? Call them sooner. In fact, call them as soon as they book the appointment. So if they book the appointment for Thursday at 2 p.m. and today's Tuesday, we'll just call them today, right? Call them today. Say, hey, listen, nice to connect with you. I saw you booked an appointment. I actually had some time right now on my calendar. If you're available to talk right now, we can actually do your consultation immediately. Now, why is that valuable? Because that prospect is already in the mindset of talking about fixing their credit. Why? They just went through the marketing, they went through the ad, they booked the appointment, they've already taken actions. So they're already in momentum towards, getting this consultation going, right? So let's not wait. One key thing is, hey, that appointment comes in, call them before the appointment, okay? Now, number 3, no-show tagging. This is so simple, but so important. We see a lot of people not tagging the lead correctly on no-shows. And one other tip about no-shows: if you have an appointment that's set and you call that lead at that time and they don't answer, here's what a lot of people make the mistake of doing. They don't call back. They call once and then that's it. What you want to do is call them 2 times, 3 times back to back, okay? Because they may not answer the first time. They don't recognize the number. Call them 2, 3 times, then send them a text saying, hey, it's me, Mary, John, whatever, calling for our consultation. Is this still a good time, right? And then if they still don't reply back after that, give it some time, 10, 15, 20 minutes, then you add the tag no show. It says no shows, but it's actually no show, okay? You want to add that tag because by doing that, it'll then send that lead into the follow-up sequence to re-engage them into rescheduling their appointment, okay? So very important, simple tips, but believe it or not, these are the things that we see people are either A, not doing, or B, not doing it correctly. Okay. So we want to make sure you take these tips. And again, Scale's been set up so it's simple. You don't have to worry about building anything or creating landing pages or crazy automations. What you have here is a lead engine that's really designed to do one thing, and that is to capture the leads and try to get these leads to book appointments. So then that way you guys can go in there and do what you do best. Okay. Now, let's wrap this up. The next 90 days, if you were to have a conversation with me one-on-one and you're like, Max, I want to explode my business in the next 90 days. What can I do to take my business to the next level? Well, here are the 6 things I would say. Number 1, consider increasing your ad spend going into the new year. Why? Well, most people are going to be on vacation for the holidays, right? They're going to be spending time with family, okay? But the thing is, we know January comes around, people snap out of holiday mode and they're all about, improving themselves, right? New year, new me. And a lot of these people's New Year resolution is going to be to do better financially. Now, if you've been advertising and you've captured their information before the new year, they're going to reference you. When they start thinking about, hey, how can I improve my finances? Right? They're going to remember, oh yeah, boom, I know this guy or this gal and their credit repair company I opted into. They've been sending me messages. They've been sending me testimonial videos. Let me reach out to them, right? And by you planting the seeds during the holidays is going to allow you to have a harvest going into the new year when people make that decision. Hey, I want to start making improvements for the new year. Number two, get aggressive with following up with all existing leads. A lot of times we're so focused on the new leads, we forget about the existing leads. Your money is in the list, right? So you have all these leads that have been coming in. You want to work them. You want to work them day in and day out because, again, during the holidays, people are home, right? There's nothing to do. So this is a great time to reach out to them, okay? Number three, get testimonials from your clients, and you want to take these testimonials, you want to get video, okay? Very important, video. And you want to post them on your social media, right? You want to send them actually to support so we can use them in advertising, okay? But you also want to send them to your clients, to your leads, to your prospects as you're talking to them. If you're doing a consultation and that person is interested, maybe they want you to follow up with them, don't just send them away and wait till the appointment to have a conversation with them. What you want to do is send them testimonials. You want to stay on top of their mind, right? So send them testimonials, send them information, so that way they have that that there's something to think about and at the top of their mind until that follow-up happens where you can enroll them, right? So getting as many testimonials from your existing clients, videos, is going to move the needle because that also provides social proof. Number four, use the Scale CRM to the fullest. You want to use proper tagging. You want to make sure you go through your conversations tab and make sure all unread messages have been read and marked read. You want to leverage bulk email and SMS. If you have questions on how to do that, you can reach out to support. We'll be happy to send you a quick little guide on how to do it. But you can literally send a bulk blast email if you want, promoting a holiday special, which is actually number 5, create time-sensitive holiday promotions. So you have Black Friday coming up, you have Christmas coming up, right? You've got the New Year coming up, Cyber Monday coming up. So you want to create time-sensitive promotions. So then that way your prospects are they're incentivized to take action now versus later, right? Very important. And then the last thing I would say is this: depending on your volume of leads and what you do, if you're doing this full time or if you do this part time, depending on what your schedule looks like, consider going pro, right? We have a program where we actually put a trained rep on your account that knows how to use Scale. And basically, it's as though you have someone who's basically doing all that work, the follow up on your behalf, getting the leads, getting in contact with the leads, setting these appointments, doing the transfer. So if those people are ready to talk to you, we send them over to you right away. And then that way, a lot of the initial work is kind of taken care of, is delegated by one of our representatives, a lead development rep. So that way you have more time to focus in on whatever it is that you need to focus in on, right? So that will free you up, okay? So consider doing that. So with that being said, I hope this information kind of helped give some insights and clarity on what you can do over the next 90 days. We want to see you thrive going into the end of the year because we know it's the people who plant the seeds now, going into the holidays, are those who are going to harvest in 2023 and beyond. Looking forward to helping you guys all scale your business.